Good morning, Experience Butte page fans. Today we have a very special guest with us. This is BT Livermore, and he's going to be talking about some really cool things going on with him and the IBRC. The IBRC, in case you're not familiar with, is the Imagine Butte Resource Center here in Butte. It's located in the Phoenix building. A lot of really cool stuff going on with them, but I'm going to let BT explain more of that. So BT, thank you for hanging out with me today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And just explain what you do here. What's going on with you here at the IBRC? What is your gig?
Sure. I do a lot here at the IBRC. Mainly, I am the print shop manager, I guess. We have the community print studio that anyone can come and learn how to print, various different printmaking methods. We have open print studios every Thursday night from 5 to 9 p.m. where anyone can come in for free and talk to me, hang out, make some prints, learn some stuff. And besides that, I do a lot of work around the gallery and general volunteering as well.
Yeah. So what drew you to this particular line of work? What is it about it that you really like?
This is all I've ever wanted to do.
Really?
I remember being 4 or 5 years old when you first sort of learn that you can be something, I guess, when you're an adult. And like, this is the only thing that's ever interested me, the arts. So. Wow.
So is that a big thing in your family, or you just you're like the only one who's into it?
It's not. Yeah, it was really just me. My parents were very supportive of it though, but they are not artists themselves, and it's not really common in my family to do that. So
you just picked it up and went with it. And what do they think of it? Is this like?
I think, like I said, they're very supportive, but I think there's oftentimes, growing up, they didn't necessarily understand it. It's not the world that they came from, but, both my parents are teachers, so they're very supportive of anything I was doing to be educated in something I enjoyed.
That's very cool, yeah. So other than being in that world of art and the things that you do, what are some other things that are kind of connected with that you've done in the past? Have you worked commercially with businesses that kind of use that the art and all the things that you do?
Yeah, I guess my day job, if I can say that, I work as a sign painter and a screen printer for the most part, and so I do a lot of commissions for businesses that need signs outside, whether it's on the side of a building, really big, or an open-close sign as small as that, or anywhere in between.
Oh, nice.
And I do printing of mostly paper goods, posters for bands, events, things like that, art prints for artists. I do occasionally do things like tote bags and t-shirts, but not as much.
And I've seen your work. It's awesome. It's a throwback to the day when things were done by hand and were done right, and there was a lot of pride in them. It wasn't just something your computer spit out. It was like all hand done, and I think that's very cool. And with that in mind, I came across something on the internet the other day where they were saying that old-timey jobs are coming back, and I saw it and I was like, okay, old-timey. I kind of remember some of that stuff when it was still around, but things like being a barber, the old school way of doing being a barber, and there were some other things they mentioned. So do you think that is just a fad, or do you think it's something that we're going back to as far as like the simpler days when things were made by hand? And is there more? Do you think there's more of an appreciation for the way things used to be done?
I think what I've seen, and it definitely I didn't even think about barbering, but certainly in my line of work, like sign painting counts as one of those, letterpress counts as one of those. All these things are having a resurgence in the last few years, and I hesitate to say like, oh, they're coming back, because none of them ever left.
Right.
There were maybe fewer people. It wasn't quite the golden era or something anymore. But I think there is a focus on making stuff that lasts and working with your hands again. I think we're so inundated with digital technology right now that those are all things, especially like barbering. You're not gonna you might have a robot cut your hair at some point in the future, but I don't know if I trust that. So I think there's a lot of people that just want to get back into that idea of the craft behind those things.
The workmanship, and it's an art. It really is. Even barbering is an art.
Absolutely.
I believe that. So do you think that if that was maybe introduced to the younger generation, I'll say the kids that are in high school, that they would appreciate that, or do you think they're going to still go towards technology and AI and all the things that are involved with all that? Do you think we can introduce it to the next generation and still have that appreciation for it?
I think so. I think statistically a certain amount of them are going to latch onto that. I think people that are in high school now or younger are certainly coming at it from a different level of technology in their life than, say, I grew up with.
Yeah.
And, I'm not sure how much of that can be overcome. I'm not sure how much of that needs to be overcome. I think I'm totally fine with digital technology too. I love my iPhone. I love things like that. I love my computer. So, there needs to be advancements in that world as well. And, there's definitely an art and a craft and a science and innovation behind that technology that's wonderful as well. So.
Yeah, and you having been here in Butte, you probably, in the work that you do you think there's more of a grasp on that sort of thing here in Butte than, say, in a bigger city where it's more modern? Does that make sense? I mean, I think of Butte as more of a blue-collar town. Do you think there's more of an appreciation for that sort of craftsmanship that goes along with, a print shop and the things that you do and barbering and things like that?
I think there is. I think there's a definite focus on history here in Butte, and the idea of blue collar, working with your hands, getting a bit dirty, and I think there is an appreciation. And like, I know certainly when people come into the print studio, we have a letterpress that's from 1911 or something like that, and you can see how it works, and I think there's something about that versus, say, a digital printer that you're going to hook up to your computer. You never see the insides of it. And people will come and they're just so interested in this machine that weighs over 1,000 pounds, but that they can see every moving aspect of it and figure out how it works after looking at it for just a few minutes. And I think that's something that I've seen a lot here in town. Yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. So let's talk about this project that you're working on. For those of you that are not aware of, there is, if you want to go on Facebook, look on the local crowd dash Better in Butte, and what they're doing is they're trying to create a platform where you can donate to special projects here in Butte. One of them being this Phoenix Fabrication Studios that BT is looking to promote. But we want to make sure that everybody understands how the crowdfunding platform works, because it's still very new to, say, places like Butte where it's really small. And it's an opportunity for people to donate to big projects that are being done locally. Kind of think back to the olden days when people would put money and donate money and raise money to build like a library, or like I know a lot of the buildings here in Butte, for instance. I want to say like the Elks Lodge and a lot of those buildings were put together by donations. It wasn't money. The money was not given to them by like the government or anything like that. People actually raised money to build a lot of the beautiful buildings here in Uptown Butte. And so in the same manner, crowdfunding goes back to that, where the community donates money and donates their time to see a project built. So BT, tell us about this project that you're working on.
Yeah, well, it's the Phoenix Fabrication Studio, as you said. So it's in the warehouse behind the Phoenix building. So it's the Galena Street side of the Phoenix building. It's about a 15,000 square foot warehouse. It used to be storage for the department store way back in the day. And we are converting it into sort of a multidisciplinary arts and fabrication space that'll be open to the community. It'll be affordable, and we're planning to have, build off of what the Imagine Butte Resource Center has done already with the gallery and with our, educational programming and with our community print space. And we're going to move the equipment down into the warehouse from its current location. And we'll also at that point be adding in a screen printing studio, which we've never had here at the IBRC. And then also throwing in things like a wood shop and a metal shop and a ceramic studio, maybe a 3D printer, things like that. And opening it up to members of the community, whether they are here in Butte or the region, or maybe they're just traveling through town and they want to check it out for the day. But we have a lot of space, and once it's full and running, there'll also be private studio space for local artists here in town. But you'll be able to come in at any day of the week and make whatever you want, whether that's an art project. But we also want to make it open for people that are just starting small businesses, entrepreneurs, people that don't necessarily consider themselves artists, but they like to make something. There's definitely a lot of I've met a lot of people that do woodwork and metalwork and things like that. Maybe they lean towards more of the engineering side, or they don't consider it an art, they consider it a trade, and that's fine. Like we love all of that. And, you know, we want to be able to support the people of the community here to be able to create whatever they want, regardless of what they call themselves and how they label it. And, you know, having a large space where anyone can come in when they want to make that is, I think, one of the best ways to be able to do that.
I think so. The whole idea of having it accessible to the public, so anybody can come in and anybody can make something. You know, somebody wants to make a table or something, and they can go in there and do that, and not feel like this is also exclusive. I can't even imagine going in there. But you're making it so that anybody can go in there and do it, and opportunities for somebody who feels like they need to express themselves creatively through some form of work with their hands, you know, can go in there and do that. I really like that idea. And it's a community thing. It's not just, hey, it's only for the elite or whatever, or artists or whatever. It's anybody can go in there and do that, which I really like the idea. So you've got a lot of work to do in the physical part of the building itself. So so you folks know, they're trying to raise about $10,000 to do the work, to obviously clean it out, get the things put in it that need to be put in there. And so far you guys raised about $2,200 or so.
About there right now.
And you've got about, 27, I think I looked, 27 days to raise the rest of that. And really, you know, you can donate any amount that you want to make this project happen. And so, you know, if you look at the math, really, if like 400 people donated $20, you guys would be there. And we know there's more than 400 people in Butte. And so anybody with wanting to share in this community project, you can go online and find the localcrowd.com, I believe, and then you look for the Butte, the Better in Butte link on there, and then you can donate that way. If for some reason, if somebody is not comfortable doing that, can they donate directly to like the IBRC or?
Yes, we can accept donations at the IBRC. I know Headwaters is also will accept donations for our project as well. And beyond money, like we also will accept tool and equipment donations and material donations, and that we can do if you contact us at the IBRC anytime we're open, which is Wednesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come on by. You can just drop stuff off. We'll take it, or if it's a larger item, we can arrange to probably me to come pick it up.
Yeah.
And you know, no tool is too small. At this point, we need anything, whether that's you know a set of screwdrivers that you have laying around, or some old you know hand tools. We've had kilns donated. We've had you know, if you've got some old welders laying around that are still functional, or a table saw, bandsaw, stuff like that, like we're into that. Even work tables and shelves and and all of that, and yeah, every little bit helps.
And even labor too, right? I mean, if somebody wants to help clean up or paint or whatever, you know, you're looking obviously for volunteers to help on that, and which is kind of nice, because then you can say, I have a stake in that. I'm proud that I was able to do something like that. So that's kind of a neat thing. So it is like a real community project. Think back to the days when people used to build barns, and they would have a barn raising, I don't know if they called them parties back then, but everybody would come from the community. They would help put up the barn. The women, I guess back in the day, would make pies or whatever and food, and people would eat. And it was just like a big community family type thing where they were just helping one another out. And I really like that idea of just everybody sharing in the labor and the sweat equity into something like that. And I think Butte's very good with that, I think too. I know they're very generous. And so if you do have any questions, you can contact BT at the IBRC. Do you have a phone number for them by any chance?
I don't know what the phone number is. imaginebutte@gmail.com if you want to email us.
They're also on Facebook.
Yep.
Look them up on Facebook.
Or just drop in 68 West Park Street.
Yeah, we're in the Phoenix. They're in the Phoenix building. So yeah, that's something that I think is worth looking into. Something worth investing in. When you think about not just say people that are like my age, think of the next generation coming up who wants to be able to be a part of the community, whether we believe that or not. I think they want to be invested in the community, but there needs to be something that they can gravitate to and align. I know the arts is really big with a lot of them, and some of them just want to do something with their hands, and this is a great opportunity to direct their their unused time to do something like that. You know, they say the idle hands are the devil's workshop, right?
Right.
Well, this will take care of that problem because I'll have something to do. I'll have something useful for them to do. So, yeah, definitely get involved in the donating part of that, whether it's labor, tools, or funding. We want to see this project come through, and really, it's not that much money if you think about it. You know, it's $5 here, $10 here, and it all adds up. But they do have like about 27 days to make this happen. So get involved and start spread the word around too. If you know somebody who's interested in doing something like that. So let's.
And there's a lot of rewards too for the crowdfunding. Just so you know, we're not just asking for money with nothing in return. It's as simple as, $5, we're going to thank you online. That's kind of the simplest thing. But, if you donate $25, if that's something you can afford, you're going to get a screen printed t-shirt or tote bag or bandana that's actually made here in the building. I'll be doing the printing on those. If you get further up, like $100 level, your name will be permanently on display as money. With $1,500, we'll actually name one of our major studios after you. So
cool.
It's a big deal.
That would be awesome. Yeah. So what other kind of projects would you like to see similar to this happen in Butte? I mean, I think this is a great idea, but I know there's like probably so many other things that could be done in Butte that could help the community in a positive way. What other things do you think would be cool to happen in Butte?
I'd like urban green space. I really love parks, and I moved here somewhat recently from Portland, Oregon, and there's so many city parks, more than I've seen in most cities, and they act as these wonderful community spots where people can come together, whether that's just I'm going to go have lunch with friends in a park, or go get some reading done, or it's these taking time to relax and sit outside and where maybe you can't, go out for a long hike, but you get a little bit of nature right there. I would also love to see a lot more public art on display, especially mural work. Maybe I'm a little biased being a sign painter. I really like painting. But I think it really livens up a space as you walk down a street, and where once there was a blank wall, suddenly there's something beautiful that you can see.
Something beautiful to look at. Yeah. I know there's some cities that have taken their alleys that are normally unused and dirty and gross and dark, and they have turned them into public spaces. They put up a basketball hoop, they paint a nice court in there, they put up benches and things, and people can hang out, or they make them spaces where you can have not a block party, but you can have music there and stuff on the weekends. They've turned their alleys, these unused alleys, into really cool public spaces, which I think would be cool, because I think Butte's got a lot of interesting alleys to begin with, and I think not necessarily do a huge makeover, but you could fix them up and make them look nice, and people can hang out there, and you remove that stigma of the dark, scary alley and make it a place where you can hang out. So yeah, I think that's kind of cool. All right, so I think we're going to wind down now a little bit, and actually I might, if you don't mind, follow you so you can show me some of that printing press stuff you've got.
Yeah, we can do
so
that.
First we're going to do the 10 for 10.
Okay.
These are really random questions,
I'm
so
excited.
Be ready for okay, and then I'll just follow you around, and you can show me where the stuff is, the printing machines, or whatever you call them, printing press. Printing press, I want to use the right term. All right, so the first question I think you already answered, because I asked, we talked about when you were a little kid. What did you want to be when you were a kid? Was there something specific with art that you wanted to do when you were a kid, or did you just say, I want to be an artist?
Yeah, so I guess the specifics have always changed, but so when I was probably 4 or 5, I started out wanting to be a newspaper cartoonist.
Oh, okay.
Comic strips. And then for a long time I wanted to be a special effects makeup artist in the movies, and then had sort of a brief stint as wanting to be a photographer. And then I got really into post high school, got into graphic design, web design, kind of in the earlier days of that. Got tired of computers, started drawing again, became an illustrator. So it's always been something art and creative based.
Yeah.
It just switches around.
Awesome. What was your favorite subject in school when you were a kid?
It wasn't art, actually.
Really?
No.
Surprise, surprise.
I really liked math. I think if I wasn't
if I didn't know how like creatively oriented I wanted to be in my life, there's something about sitting down with crunching numbers and code, even coding when I was into web design and stuff too. These similar things, working out those kind of mental puzzles, I think is fascinating.
Fun.
So.
Yeah. What's the farthest or furthest you've been from home?
Home. Well, I don't even know how to categorize what home means right now. Because my home has been a lot of places. I guess the furthest I've actually traveled though would be like Ireland and the UK.
Oh,
so
cool!
A couple times I've been out that way. So.
Very nice. Okay, so if we're in a zombie apocalypse, right, and you have to go down into the bunker, what are 3 things that you would want to have in there to keep you occupied?
Definitely a sketchbook. I think with or without a zombie apocalypse, I've always got a sketchbook on me. Obviously, some sort of drawing, painting implements to go along with that. And then also helps too if it gets real bad, you can start writing your final words. But keep me occupied. I feel like I get really into whittling or something. Maybe
a long stick and a little knife or whatever. Okay. Which do you prefer, gelato or ice cream?
I prefer gelato.
Do you? What flavor?
I've had some really good pistachio gelato. Yeah.
That sounds good.
I'm not super picky on flavor. But
I like gelato too. What's your favorite or best movie you've ever seen?
Dead Man. It's a Johnny Depp movie directed by Jim Jarmusch in the early 90s. I don't know, a lot of people feel like they haven't seen it. But,
I don't think I've heard of it.
I rented it on VHS and in 2 days watched it 9 times.
Oh, wow.
And I've seen it
dozens
more times after that. So
cool.
Yeah.
Do you like board games?
I do.
Which one's your favorite?
Growing up, I liked Scrabble a lot. I like words and
That's my favorite.
wordplay and stuff too. Lately, I've been into there's some more kind of like European board games that are becoming more and more popular in the U.S., like Settlers of Catan and things like that.
Yeah,
I'm
I played that one. That's fun. Yeah. Okay, if you could live anywhere in Butte, would you be uptown or on the flats?
Well, I currently live in Uptown, and I think I'd like to continue living in Uptown.
Really like it, yeah. A lot of cool stuff to look at that here. Okay, pasty or pork chop sandwich?
Ooh, I'd go pasty on that one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your secret power?
Secret power? Empathy.
That's good, man.
I have a long history of being incredibly empathetic. Yeah.
That's very good. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to follow you now to your secrets place and show us where all the magic happens. I really like these old chairs.
Yeah, we have a collection of wonderful old things here.
All right, so we're going to follow BT into the studio so he can show us. Whoops. Let me flip this around.
I'm going to show these off while I work.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things we're doing with the IBRC Print Studio is our CSA program, which is Community Supported Art. Should we walk in?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So much like a agricultural CSA where you get whether it's every week or every 2 weeks, you get fresh produce or eggs or meat depending on what kind of CSA you have.
Yeah.
We're doing the same thing but with prints.
Oh, cool.
And so this one's by Kelly Packer, our artist here, Christine Martin. And so these are our first, I think we have 5 or 6 in here. And so we started this back in January where for $300 for a year, whoever is a member will get 1 copy of each of these 12 monthly prints along with a couple other random things. We'll put in postcards and buttons and stickers and things like that as well. They get shipped, or you can come pick them up on a quarterly basis. You can also pay on a quarterly basis, $75 a quarter. We'll get you all the prints as well, so you don't have to put out $300 right away.
Yeah. So what a great way to not only support local artists, but to start art collections, right?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's with the really upper people. That's the thing to do is collect art.
Yeah, and
but,
prints are the way to do that. Like if you're getting started in that, like you can
if you print this, come down to what, $25 a print or something like that.
Yeah,
if you get the whole,
that's actually pretty
the
good.
whole membership.
Yeah.
And so end of the year you've got 12 new pieces of art to hang.
Nice.
On the wall, so.
What a great idea. Yeah, because that's. I mean, when I opened up my office upstairs, I had to scrounge through my house to find art to put on the walls, and it was like my kids' art, you know, like scribbles they did in kindergarten. I just framed them and everything to try to make them look nice. But yeah, when you can't find something specific, you could just do that. Awesome.
Yeah,
I like that.
So all the artists get paid, and anything else goes back to help our programming and help our artist in residence program here at the IDRC.
Sweet, sweet. All
But,
right,
yeah,
so let's
this is the
see
print
some of
studio.
this cool. That's an interesting looking rack.
Yeah, so this is our drawing rack. It's got 50 racks, and you know you can fit as many prints as you can on each rack.
Get some light in here. There we go. Yeah. Wow. All right, and then
but
like,
yeah,
let's see this
over
big
here.
guy right here.
So this is our newest press here in the print shop. This is a Chandler and Price platen press. This thing was made about 1911 or so, and this is a letterpress. And so, you know, if you're new to letterpress, you should come in and talk to me and learn all about it first off. But basically it works, you know, you've got these pieces of individual metal type. Sometimes they're wood for the larger ones. They come a lot bigger than this as well.
Wow.
And so all of that gets set in this frame, which is called the chase, and gets locked in so it doesn't move around. And that gets put in the press. And then put your ink up here on the disc, and your paper goes here. And so you get rollers come up, they grab some ink, and they roll down over your type. Put your paper in there, pull this forward, that presses everything together. Thousands of pounds of pressure. Will destroy your hand if you get your hand caught in it. But
That is awesome.
and
Looks
then
like good exercise too, because
Oh,
you're
it
really
is, yeah.
spinning that wheel.
yeah, and so you can also put a treadle on these like an old sewing machine and run them foot powered, which is what I do on my own personal one. But this one is also motorized.
Oh, sweet.
So if you're doing a really long run of prints, you can just let it go, and
it just
as long
keeps
as you can
going.
safely get your hands in there.
Oh, man.
It'll just keep going.
That is way cool. Where'd you find this guy?
This came from Eugene, Oregon, from a guy who had had it for over 40 years. He fully restored it, so it works perfectly. You know, it's 106 years old and it still works.
Oh, wow.
As good as it did
That is awesome.
back in the day.
Way
So-
awesome.
And
And
we
so
a
do you
couple
have
other-
some other ones? Yeah?
Yep, this is a Vandercook proof press. This is also a letterpress. Different style of operation. You turn the crank. All your type goes down here, and you put your paper on top. And then, still a letterpress, but slightly newer than these other two. The Vandercook's from probably the 20s. This is a linoscribe press. This is kind of our poster press. Does up to 14 by 22.
Oh, nice.
So your type goes face up in the bed, and you put your paper on top, and then this rolls across that, and this is a pressurized roller on that, and that's what makes your impression. And so besides type, we also have images. If it's the right height, you can put a wood block or a linoleum block that you've carved in there. But we also have these, which are called cuts, and these are engraved metal illustrations or halftone photographs. A lot of these came from old newspapers or other advertising things. And so, anyone that comes in is feel free to grab some of these and set some type next to it.
Make some stuff with them.
And just make there's some really fun images.
Oh, wow.
I love this one. We've got these two guys, basketball
or something. Yeah.
and like some old trucks.
Way cool. You can recognize some of the, like, from the old advertising, like that little guy with the bullhorn or whatever. Yeah. That is so neat.
And then we've got 3 different cabinets of metal type. So that all comes in different sizes and different typefaces, just like you would find on a computer. It's still measured in points, just like you're used to. And but you just set one letter at a time until you get all the words that you want.
So it requires a lot of patience and painstaking care so that
Yep.
it looks nice. And
Absolutely.
wow, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. I'm just gonna pan around.
Yeah, these two presses here are two different sizes. These are etching style presses. Has this big roller in the middle that you crank, and then that moves the bed across. And so these are good for, you know, copper plate etchings. These can also do linoleum block and wood block, plexiglass plates, anything like that. And you just adjust the pressure up here. And, you know, we've got a lot of scrap paper for people that want to come in and use it, but we also have nicer paper and linoleum for sale for people that want to make a print. As I said, coming in and learning on Thursday nights or whenever I'm here is free. But we do have print shop memberships. So we have like cards you can use. Basically, it comes down to anytime you ink up a press to make a print, it'll cost you like $5 a day. But if you get a card, you can get as low as $3 a day. We just have a punch card. So if you buy 10, it's only $30, so it comes out to $3 every day that you want to print, which is a great deal. And that's just to cover ink and to cover cleanup chemicals.
Obviously,
and
yeah.
like that.
There's
So,
operating costs or whatever. Yeah, this
but
is
we
great.
love having people in here Thursday nights. You know, some days we'll have 6-7 people in here working, and it's just a blast. So.
You know what a great activity, like in the winter when you can't be outside and do stuff and you just want to do something. This is a great space. You can tell a lot of cool stuff is made in here. So yeah, Butte, if you want to do something creative, this is a place to go. They've got a lot of resources. They've got a lot of artists here who can help you figure something out. But I would definitely say come and check out the IBRC. Definitely support them. They're doing a lot for the arts community here in Butte, and also just to get everybody involved in a community type setting. So I would highly encourage everybody to come and check in, just to, even if you just want to see what's going on here. I know like Friday Art Walk time is a good time to just walk in and see all the stuff that's going on in here, because it's no pressure. You just walk in, look around, and then you can go or whatever. So
and Saturday is also during the farmers market, and a little bit after the farmers market, we have the Phoenix Farm, which is on the roof of the warehouse in the back of the building, and that's an all ages thing. Young kids should have an adult with them, but anyone that wants to come in, we have, you know, straw bale gardening that can learn about, you know, the plant life that can grow here in Butte, whether that's decorative flowers and things like that, or actually food that they can grow. And we're starting an experiment to sort of green up the back deck of the building.
that's going to look really cool. Yeah,
I think that starts at 11 a.m. on every Saturday as well this summer.
Sweet.
So
All
come
right.
on out.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, BT, for spending time with us today and answering some questions. And again, remember the crowdfunding effort that's going on right now. Get on the local crowds dash Better in Butte on Facebook, and you can find their page and you can find the links to donate to them, or you can just come into the IBRC and make your donation here. I think it's a worthy effort or worthy cause, and we all just want to be a part of it. We want to make this uptown area look really cool, and I think that's going to be a big part of it. So again, thank you, BT, and I guess we're signing off for now, and get out there and experience Butte.
See you around.
All right.